Stuart Goldsmith. This is another clip from my Comedian's Comedian podcast in which your friend and mine, Ed Gamble, talks about telling the truth on stage and why exactly he is so genial and relaxed. I mean, I would be too if I looked like him.
So for people who don't know you, what kind of subjects do you talk about?
I talk about myself a lot. Quite a lot of people have accused me of being self-deprecating, but I don't think of it like that. I just think of absolutely telling the truth about myself. I talk about myself and my home life and like weight loss. You said that was a big thing for a couple of years that I talked about. It's mainly about myself.
Okay, just for people who don't know you, explain the weight loss thing.
I lost six stone in about a year.
And this is not a 20-stone man saying that. This is not like
No.
that was like half your body weight.
I was 19 stone. And I lost 6 stone. That took up a large part of my first show, second show, and partially my third show.
Do you feel you? Because I saw some of those shows, and you've got some brilliant stuff about it. That thing about the belt buckle.
Yeah, that was first show.
You've got it. Was that your first show?
That was first show.
So you had a routine about you had an eagle belt buckle which you bought because you suddenly could buy cool clothes because now you'd lost all this weight and you felt you believed in yourself more, and it made 2 little points when you bent over, so it looked like your nether regions were in inverted commas.
Yes.
I'm going from memory here. I believe also you said that because you dressed slightly to the left, it looked like your dick was in italics.
In italics, yeah, that's it. You've remembered more than me. I'd forgotten about that.
That's very good.
I might bring that bit back.
Yeah. We'll get on to one of the things I want to talk about is your ability. I think you've got a really strong ability to continue mining stuff, you know, in that way that Matt Kirshen is really good at, and a tag and another tag and another tag.
Yeah.
I think that's a speciality of yours. But you talked about the weight loss. Do you, and you kind of said there, well, I had my first show, my second show, some my third show. Do you feel you overdid that? Did you if I was you, I would have thought, hey, this is an angle.
Yeah.
I've got a thing to say because actually I'm a nice middle-class white boy.
Yeah. I think I only realised that after the second show.
Okay.
Which was very frustrating because I kept coming up with new bits about losing weight. And then eventually looked at it all and went, that would have been a really good 55-minute show.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it was spread out across 3 shows. And I think when I was doing my first show, I was not confident enough to make it all about one thing. I think I just wanted to do that thing of just collecting everything that I'd written so far. Because I'd been doing comedy for 7 years before I did my first show. So I had all this stuff, and I was like, well, just ram it into the hour and just hope it all fits together. Whereas now, I think only now am I approaching a level of confidence as a comic where I could just go like, people will come and watch me talk about one thing for 50 minutes.
It's weird. I find myself I try not to give advice, but I am asked very frequently because the idea of having a podcast apparently means that I'm good. And in the eyes of nice people that listen to the podcast. But the advice, I'm trying to be self-deprecating about the fact I do give people advice. I hate the idea of giving people advice, and often the advice that I give people is don't listen to anyone's advice.
Right.
But the one other thing I will often say to newer acts is if they're stressing about their competition set, there's no such thing as competitions, there's no such thing as the industry. But if they're stressing about their set, the thing I try to say is do 7 minutes about one subject.
Yeah.
Because that does display, maturity or experience, or like I certainly, when I did my competition sets, I got the 5 funniest bits I had and rammed them all together and tried to take all the gaps out and all the pauses and all everything. But there is something to be said for going, nope, I'm talking about this, and I think people really respect that.
It shows. I think it shows confidence and like brass balls that early on in a career to be like, I'm going to mine one subject for 7 minutes, and some of it might not be funny, but we're getting somewhere with it.
And what was the reception to your first show?
Fine, like absolutely fine. But with Edinburgh, like critically, that's my bag. Absolutely fine.
Is it?
Yeah. Like certainly my first show, which I don't know, maybe that's unfair. Certainly my first show. I've been going for 7 years. Everyone had seen me. They'd seen most of the bits. They knew what I did, and then I just did that. So I wasn't like showing up going like, well, you've seen that. Come and watch me. I've been to Goliath. I'm going to do my clown show. I was just doing what I'd been doing, which I think worked to get a new audience in and to sort of progress my career. But critically, no one's going like, oh my God, have you seen what Gamble's doing this year? It's what we've seen him do already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you regret that? Do you feel like you could have made more of an impact by pushing yourself
I think
harder?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, certainly. But I think we can all say that. I think, but I was very happy with all the stuff in it, and it's meant that I am where I am now because it was just like I've just kept writing stand-up.
So talk about where you are now. How do you feel about where you are now? Because I've got my preconceptions about where you are now.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in the ascendancy. You've been on Mock the Week a good few times now.
Yeah.
You're kind of lifting. Like if you look at your tour schedule, they're decent. You know, it's a decent length tour. They're decent sized rooms. It's like, Gamble's achieving escape velocity.
You say that, but they just let you book those rooms. It doesn't mean that anyone's going to come. You can just book them and put them on a poster. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Feel like
you've disavowed the idea of self-deprecating earlier
No,
on.
it does.
You're doing fine in those rooms.
Yes, doing fine in those rooms. It does feel like things are going in the right direction. It's taken quite a long time, sort of chipping away at it, but it certainly feels like doing things like Mock the Week, and then that hopefully leading to other stuff and selling tickets, and people seem more interested. It feels like it's going in the right direction.
What the listener at home might not hear is that someone has just started playing a guitar solo in the background, and it was just such a perfect filmic moment of it feels like it's going in the right direction. Great. So it's clearly going in the right direction. Do you know what I mean by escape velocity? That kind of like we're all on the circuit, we're all chipping away, and then you go, hang on a minute, they're doing quite well, because then as soon as you become a TV face, you start getting booked for other TV things.
Well, yeah, you'd hope so, yeah.
Do you feel that happening?
Yeah, I think I'm certainly busier, but I will also do anything.
What sorts of things?
Oh, just whatever you throw at me. I don't care what channel it's for. I don't care what I have to do. I'll just do it. These days. It's all about just getting your face out there, even if it is covered in custard on ITV2.
Well, the first thing in which I remember you getting we'll talk about the double act for in a minute as well. But the first thing where I thought, oh, hang on, Gamble's going off, was Almost Royal.
Yeah.
So you did could you just tell us what that show was? Because I watched a little bit of it again in researching for this interview, and it's very, very funny.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's much funnier than I expected it to be, given that it's kind of Sunday morning hangover fare.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was quite gentle. I'll explain what it was. It was a BBC America show, so it was an American commissioned show, but co-produced with a British production company called Burning Bright. And it was me and Amy Hoggart pretending to be 50th and 51st in line to the throne and filming a documentary across the States, meeting real people and sort of acting like we were, trying to find out more about America as British royalty. So it's it was a Borat type thing, but what we always wanted was for it to be more gentle than Borat. It was always us looking like idiots.
Yes.
And people going, God, these
It's
British
not
people are
about trying to
idiots.
highlight people's prejudices or
No.
ignorance or whatever. It was actually just an opportunity for you to push improvising and how stupid you could be.
Very early on, I remember doing the pilot thinking, oh, we can really highlight some social stuff here. And talking to a man, we were in the middle of Tennessee somewhere. He was driving us out into a lake to catch catfish with our hands. I remember saying things to him like trying to catch him in traps to say something racist, and he just wasn't. He just wasn't racist. I was like, I'll probably just leave that then. It feels cruel.
For tour dates, news, updates, whatever they are, and the latest episodes of the Comedian's Comedian podcast, go to stuartgoldsmith.com.